Hey friends, I am back with a what sold video. So if you want to know what sold this week, stay tuned.
Let me set the scene. We hustle hard, second green, living out the dream. From clothes and kicks, we got that vintage flair. You name it, we got it. All the styles you want to wear. Started small, now we.
Hey friends, it is Stephanie with Three Queens Resell, and I am back with October what sold. So I'm going to do October week 1, which spans from September 29th, actually, yes, Sunday, September 29th through Saturday, no, yes, Saturday, October 5th. And friends, sorry I'm so behind on my what solds, so you're going to see me get caught up this week, but I dropped my computer and broke it. And so it has taken a mental toll on me because that laptop was my life. So I had to go get a new computer and I just had to get used to it. But I am back and excited to share with you what sold in my October. And as we go through the weeks, we can talk about the Poshmark changes, the good, the bad, the ugly, the disappointing. But let's get into it with Sunday, September 29th. So on the 29th, we had 9 sales. So we'll get started with Poshmark. First up were these Tom suede ankle boots, size 8.5. They have been listed since November 20th of 23. So almost a year. They sold for $14. After the $2.95 in fees, I was left with $11.05. Then next up on Poshmark were these Mercari knit icon stitch slipper socks. I picked them up at the Goodwill outlet and just threw them in my cart. At first I thought I would wear them myself, but then when I looked up comps, I was like, okay, like the sell-through rate was good on them. They had been listed since June 17th. They sold for $18 after the $3.60 in fees. I made $14.40. I made more off some socks than I did some boots. Crazy. Moving on to eBay, we had this American Eagle jumpsuit size large. It had been listed since October 12th, and it sold for, after all of the profits, which you guys know I'll put the other eBay totals up so that you can see how we get to this, because eBay, you pay a fee on everything, which I think was what Poshmark was trying to do. But they were trying to make the buyer do it too. So after you take out the shipping, the fees, all the good stuff, I profited $16.35. But I do like for you to see all the other expenses going into it so that you can price accordingly. Next up on eBay was this Eileen Fisher wool cardigan sweater, size small, purple. I made $20.79 on that, and it had been listed since July 6th. Next up was this X Official long sleeve button down shirt, size extra small. This is not a bread and butter brand that I would even pick up anymore. I profited $9.79. It had been listed since January 1st. And I don't see it that often. The sell-through rate doesn't look that bad, but it just doesn't move for me. So I'm going to leave that behind. Then back to Poshmark, we have these Athleta textured Brooklyn short, size 6 purple. It had been listed since June 16th. They sold for $13. After the $2.95 in fees, I was left with $10.05. Then on Poshmark, we had this Romans long sleeve beaded black tunic, size 22 women's. It sold for $12. After the $2.95 in fees, I was left with $9.05. I don't have a date on that because that was bought for auction, and items that we buy for auction that don't enter into, they take like a fast track. They don't go through a whole processing process. They just stay on this rack over here for me. I don't write down the dates. Next up on eBay, we had this Taylor Swift Folklore hooded sweatshirt that was sold at Urban Outfitters. It sold for my profit was $33.45, and it had been listed since July 23rd. I myself get to enjoy the Taylor Swift concert with my little person who is a fanatic Swiftie on November 3rd here in Indianapolis, Indiana. So I'm super excited about that. More so because I can't wait for her to experience something she's been waiting for almost a year. And when you're only 11, that's a long time. Next up is this Gloria Vanderbilt Amanda denim jeans, size 22 women's. They have been listed since January 2nd, and my profit on those was $8.35. So our numbers for Sunday, September 29th. On Poshmark, we had 4 sales for $44.55. On eBay, we had 5 sales for a total of $88.73, bringing our daily total to $133.28 for those 9 items. The average sale price comes out to $14.81, which is below our $15 that I like to have a minimum of $15. We had $8 cost of goods. So, yeah, that's where we are for the first day of our new month. Moving on to Monday, September 30th, we had 10 sales. Big day. So, first up on Poshmark was this Be Cool button-down shirt, size medium. Has like a flannelly like print. It had been listed, friends, since August 20th of 2022. My goal moving into 2025 is to try to locate all of those older items and push them out the door. Just start sending crazy offers on them. It sold for $10 after the $2.95 in fees. I was left with $7.05. Then next on Poshmark, we had these soft Porta open toe platform like shoe sandal, brown, size 8. They have been listed since June 18th of 23. They sold for $15 after the $3 in fees. I was left with $12. Next on Poshmark, we have these Ever Eve short sleeve knit sweater, size small, and it had been listed since September 24th, so just about 6 days. It sold for $16 after the $3.20 in fees. I was left with $12.80. Next up on Poshmark, we had these Beta brand classic dress pants in gray, size extra large. I had picked these up at a Goodwill and found like 2 or 3 pair. And so I was really happy that they're starting to sell. This had been listed since July 23rd. They sold for $22 after the $4.40 in fees. I was left with $17.60. Then moving on to Mercari, we sold these Hannah Anderson Dear John pajama set youth size 5. They had been listed since July 22nd, and we made $15 on those. Mercari does not charge the seller fees, which I don't understand how these different models work. How are they getting paid? I'm like, they're charging the buyer some type of fee. That didn't work on Poshmark, as we will soon find out. But I don't know. I don't think Poshmark gave it enough time. But I digress. Moving on, still on Mercari, we had this Denim & Co. hooded jacquard sweater knit cardigan, and it had been listed for about 20 days since August 10th. Actually, no, about 2 months. And our profit on that was $35. Then moving on to eBay, we had this new Attack Old Navy sweater, tan, size extra large. Sell, our profit on that was $3.69. Then we had also on eBay this Aerie sweater, gray, size large. Aerie is very expensive retail, so it is worth picking up and flipping on the resale market. I have done well with Aerie anywhere I've tried to sell it, on platforms, live auctions, and at the consignment shop. So if you can find, especially the sweatshirts and sweaters, in good condition, go ahead and pick them up. This one our profit was 10.94, which is on the low end for profit of what I've gotten on Aerie sweatshirts, especially larger sizes. And that had been listed since May 13th. Next up on eBay, we had an Everlane barrel straight high rise ankle jean black. I found like three pair of these back in the bins back in like May, and they have been slowly selling off. These have been listed since June 3rd, and the profit on those after fees was 25.11, and that was an eBay sale. And ending the day with Depop, I found this Free People rare thermal knit Henley in the bins. It looked a little like, but since when I Google Lensed it, it did say rare, and I thought it might be one of those like that people pay like a lot of money for. So I went ahead and brought it home, and it was less than a pound. It's been listed since August 24th, and it sold on Depop, and our profit came to 18.61 on that. So our numbers for Monday on Poshmark, we had 4 sales for a total of 49.45. Then on Mercari, we had 2 sales for a total of $50. Then on eBay, we had 3 sales for a total of 39.74. Then we rounded out with Depop, 1 sale for 18.61. The daily total was 157.80 for those 10 items, bringing our average sale price to 15.78 and our cost of goods to 10. So for the month, we are at $291. Actually, we're not, because those are still in September. We're still in September, but we've sold 19 items this month so far, and a weekly total of $291.08. Next up, we're on Tuesday, October 1st, and we had 8 sales this day. First up on Poshmark was this cabbie. 5166 is the style number. Dark wash jeans, size 14. I do like picking up cabbie, especially the newer tag items. If you're not familiar, cabbie is a brand where you have to like go to a party. I do know of one brick and mortar store, but it's one of those like catalog parties, like kind of Tupperware and stuff, where you go and have cheese and wine and stuff and shop. I think Matilda Jane might be like that as well. But so it's a lot of people don't have access to it. Quite frankly, if I didn't live where I live and hadn't been invited to a cabbie party, I would know anything about it. And so these sold for $18 after the $3.60 in fees. I was left with $14.40, and they had been listed for since August 21st. Then on Mercari, we have this Canyon Creek Mexican Baja hoodie drug rug. These sell quickly for me, no matter the brand, and normally for pretty good money. This one I made $25.52 in profit. It had been listed since August 10th. And then we had several small sales. So I had started this thing with items that didn't sell in my Posh shows. I put them on eBay on auction. Well, then I decided that I was still going to put them on eBay, but they weren't going to be on auction. I was just going to put them at whatever the trending price was for them, and then, of course, take best offer. And the reason I made that change, sorry, I have some popcorn. I've been eating kettle corn. Um, the reason I decided to make that change is because I couldn't really keep up with the auctions and them ending and starting all different days of the week. It was just a headache. So I thought, and I wasn't making that much money because they weren't getting bidded up on auction. Even though I was making probably what I would have made if they sold for $5 in an auction on Poshmark because of that $2.95 fee. But anyway, I just decided um, to switch them. So I think that change happened the first or second week. The few things that, the few items that already were on auction, I kind of just left them, but then going forward, the items are by it now. So you can get some really good deals on my eBay. So first up was this Victoria's Secret PJ pant size medium. Our profit on that was $3.35. And those I had zero cost of goods into. This next one was zero cost of goods as well. Both of these items were from my daughter's good friend Alice, who always gives me lots of good stuff. But these were Paper Moon pink satin pants, and our profit on those was $3.27. Next up was this pink Victoria's Secret hooded sweatshirt. Our profit was $3.27 on that. Pink is does really well for me on eBay, even when it's not on auction, long as it's priced appropriately. And so that's another reason I want to move away from the auction thing, because we do have storage space and I can let the items sit for a minute, and as long as they're priced to move, they should move within 30 to 60 days. Next up were these American Eagle skinny jegging size 4. These were also from Alice, and our profit was only $1.56 on these. I think I messed up shipping. Sometimes when I don't put the right weights in and I guess too low, and then of course I have to eat the difference when I actually purchase the label. So don't be like me. Then on eBay were these UGG boots. They were their cranberry platform brown size 6. They had been listed since March 26. They had a flaw. There was a chunk missing, like out of the wood on one of the hills. I mean, they're completely wearable, but someone offered me 12. We sent out offers, and so those sold for $12.79. I think I sent off like a 50% offer on those because I just want to move flawed things. So for Tuesday on Poshmark, we had one sale for $14.40. On Mercari, one sale for $25.52. On eBay, we have those 6 small sales for $26.30. So our total for the day was $66.22. Our average sale price was $8.28. Another thing, those auction sales bring my average sale price down, and we don't want that. So being a full-time reseller is all about pivoting and tweaking and trying new things. And I tried it. I don't like it. So I'm going to try something else. And my cost of goods for those items was $7. Our total for the day is at $66.22. And our total for the month is at $357.30. And we sold 9 items or 7 items that day. Then moving to Wednesday, which was our slowest day of the week, we had 5 sales. The first on Poshmark was this Athleta corduroy moto legging size medium. These were a bins pickup. I tend to pick up all the Athleta. I'm going to start straying away from smalls and extra smalls unless there's something special about them, just because they sit for a minute, but they're pretty lightweight. Leggings are pretty lightweight, and we are moving into that workout season where people make those New Year's resolutions. So I bought these back in February thinking people were still in the mood for them, but they weren't. And so they've sat for a while. They sold for $14 after the $2.95 in fees. I made $11.05, and then the rest were eBay sales. And so this first eBay sale was this Urban Outfitter dress pant, gray size medium. After all the fees, our profit was $7.47. And then, those had been listed since October 13th of 2023. Then we sold this Stella and Dot blue knit top size large. Our profit on that was $6.67, and that had been listed since March 19th. Stella and Dot is more known for their leather goods, and I only picked it up because it struck me as like, wait, I don't see Stella and Dot in clothing that much. And so It was a good try. It was a bins pickup. Next bins pickup were these Zara men's casual pant blue, size 32. I've had these listed since April 11th. Our profit on these was $6.74. I'm probably going to stray away from Zara men's moving forward unless it's a more substantial piece. And then finally, we have these Tory Burch mini black logo flats, size 6.5, sell for $57.94 in profit. They have been listed since July 27th. The Tory Burch flats with the medallion on top still sell. I used to be able to get over 100 for them, but sadly not anymore, but they still do sell. So if you can find them at a good price, I would go ahead and pick those up. So our totals for the day, Poshmark, we had one sale for 11.05, and eBay we had four sales for a total of 78.82, and our total for the day was 89.87, making our total for the week $447.47 with a total of 37 items sold. Then moving to Thursday, this was October 3rd. We had three sales. We started off with this Zara Zip Up Bomber Jacket 2XL. It sold for $20 after the $3.55 in fees. I was left with $16.47. So this was on Poshmark. So this was the first day that of the change in the Poshmark pricing. And so it was really beneficial to me because I was one of the closets, because I am a Posh ambassador, that got discounted shipping. So I feel like that was a bonus for me. And I was winning because of the lower fees on the items. So I was kind of digging it. Then on eBay, I sold this Under Armour fleece line quarter zip large size gray. Our profit on that was $4.04. It had been listed since February 15th. Under Armour men's items will flip, um, just not for a lot. So I only pick up the ones that are in really, really good condition because I don't want to do work on them and not make that much. Next up was this Sam Edelman leather booty, size 9. Sam Edelman used to be a really good pickup for me when I started reselling 6 years ago. It's cooled quite a bit, so unless the shoes are in excellent condition, I'm going to start leaving them behind. I made $15.10 off of these leather booties, and they had been listed since April 18th. So our totals for the day, Poshmark, one sale with $16.45 in profit, and eBay we had two sales for a total of $19.14, and that brings our daily total to $35.59. Our average sale price was $11.83, and our cost of goods was $5 for those items, bringing our monthly total to $483.06 for 40 items. Moving on to Friday, October 4th, we had six sales, and the first being this Doe plus B party dress black large new tag. It had been listed since January 19th. It sold for $22 after the $3.77 in fees. I was left with $18.23. Then on Poshmark, we have these Spanx velour leggings, size large blacks. That's another brand that has really cooled. Back in the day, I could easily get $50 for a pair of Spanx leggings, and it's just not the case anymore. However, I'm still going to pick them up because they will flip. These have been listed since May 30th. I had a profit of $18 after the $3.53 in fees. I was left with $14.47. Then moving on to our eBay sales, we have these American Eagle distressed black jeans, and they had been listed since October 8th. We profited $3.60 on those. Then we had this loft shift dress black medium petite. And friends, this has been listed since November 21st of 2023. I actually think it has been listed longer than that. Like I relisted it. But finally it's going to a new home and the profit on that was $7.74. I avoid picking up loft unless it's just a more substantial piece like a longer dress or um yeah, it's just a really saturated brand, and you don't make a lot on it. But if I think the piece is cute enough and is not going to cause me that much stress, then I go ahead and pick it up. This one was actually donated to me by a friend. That's how I got it. So of course, if you're gonna give it to me for free, I will definitely take it. So our profit was 774 on that. Then next up, we had this Talbot's long sleeve top, multicolor, extra large. It had been listed since January 24th, so it had been marked down. We do have tiered markdowns in our eBay store, so I think it was at 50% off, and then they might have sent an offer, I don't know. But our profit on that was $4.13. I do want things to move within 90 days, but definitely within like 180 days. And so the closer we get to that point, I'm like, okay, let's just let it go and recoup whatever we can so we can reinvest and move on. Next up was this Talbot's classic cardigan sweater, blue, size large. It had been listed since May 31st, and our profit on that was $12.45. So our numbers for the day, Poshmark was $32.70 with 2 items, and then eBay was $27.92 with 4 items. Our total was $60.62 for the day for those 6 items, bringing our average sale price to $10.10, and our cost of goods for those items was $5. And then our monthly number is at $543 for those 543.68, and we've sold 43 items so far this month. Moving on to Saturday, our last day of the week, we have these Democracy jeans. We had 6 sales, and our average sale price made a little comeback. We had these Democracy jeggings. They were new at tag, size 18 women's. They had been listed since August 8th. They sold for $18 after the $3.49 in fees. I was left with $14.51. Then on Poshmark, I sold this J.Jill Pima 3/4 sleeve V-neck top, size 2X. It had been listed since June 28th, and it sold for $15 after the $3.32 in fees. I made $11.68, which this is a number where it doesn't work out well with the new figure, that $15 mark, because normally with a 20% you would have made $12 after the fees, but it's just right on that cusp. But that's really the only part, like breaking point, where I see where it didn't work out better for me. Then on eBay, we had this Maurice's extra large cardigan sweater sale. It had been listed since August 1st, and it sold for $5.25. It was one of our Posh show items. Next, we had this J. Crew faux wrap top red 16 tall. It sold for $20.52. That was our profit, and it had been listed since July 22nd, and that is part of our Sell Through Sunday group. I do need to get back to that and give you a follow-up on those items because they've all been listed for 90 days, and I can tell you what's left. Then we had this new tag, Free People Adela slip dress red. There's certain things when you pick them up, you're like, I know this is going to go, and this was one of them. This had been listed since August 23rd, and then my profit on it was $38.08. Then finally, we rounded out the week with these baby fat jogger sweatpants, multicolor, size 3X. They had been listed since February 27th, and the profit for those was $12.87. So our numbers for the week, well, the day first. Poshmark, we had 2 sales with a total of $26.19. eBay, 4 sales with that $76.72 for $102.91 for the day. And for those 6 items, our average sale price was $17.15. Our cost of goods was $11. And so for the week, we're at $646.59, and that is our same total for the month since it's the first week of the month. And we've sold 52 items for the month so far. So if you like what sold videos, be sure to give me a follow, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite sale of the week was. Engage with the video, share it with your friends to help me grow here on YouTube, friends, and I will see you in the next one. Let me set the scene. We hustle hard, second green, living up the dream. From clothes and kicks, we got